Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Glass Half Full podcast. I'm your host, Clayton Cox. So, last week we talked a lot about positivity and how it works in our brains. So this week I wanted to shift a little bit and talk a little bit about how things can impact our positivity. So last week I went into 2 weeks ago, I guess that would be, I went to the science of positivity. So this week I'm going to be talking about a bit more of the physical kind of stuff, and literally physical, because this episode is on exercise and positivity. So exercise and positivity, what's the connection? So I'm sure you guys have heard of runner's high, and if you haven't, it's the exercise-induced endorphin rush that leaves you feeling great after a workout. So it's sort of like that, after you work out or go run, it's like, ooh, man, I feel great. Besides feeling tired, you're like, man, I feel really good that I just went and did that. That's runner's high. So what we know about exercise is that it impacts the levels of chemicals in our brain, like serotonin, stress hormones, and endorphins. So these change when you exercise, right? When you exercise, you're more focused on getting the exercise in than stressed about schoolwork, right? If I were to go work out, I'm not really thinking about, dang, I need to get this podcast in tonight or something like that, right? I'm focused on the workout. And this is that is on purpose. Our mind does this to stay on track. So regular exercise can help you sleep better. I mean, this is pretty obvious, and good sleep helps you manage your mood, and your mood can be your positivity. So, it's kind of like a loop. Like positivity allows you to do exercise well allows you to sleep well allows you to have good positivity. I don't know if good positivity is the right way to say that, but, I'm just going to do it like that. So exercise can improve your sense of control, coping ability, and self-esteem, right? As a runner's high, you feel really good about after you did a workout, self-esteem, stuff like that, right? So there's several other ways exercise my little notes here says makes have, which I don't think makes a lot of sense. Makes have a lot of sense. So there's a lot of other ways exercise impacts our positive mindset. So movement helps you bond with others. So movement itself, and here's a quote from Kelly McGonigal, who is an author who wrote the best-selling book Joy of Movement. So movement itself primes you to connect with others. That's just the brain chemistry of it. When you get your heart rate up, and when you use your body, when you engage your muscles, it changes your brain chemistry in a way that makes it easier to connect with others and bond, trust other people. It enhances social pleasures like a high five, laughing, or a hug, right? If you are working out with somebody else or going on a run with somebody else, I mean, whenever I do that, I feel a lot more it's definitely a lot better. I like using the teamwork aspect of it. I think working out with other people is a lot better than on your own. So because of this, the way exercise alters our brain chemistry and outlook, you start to feel a true sense of connection. And it's through true sense of connection with the people that you're moving with, right? As you said, this teamwork aspect. So sports teams, right? Most people I know play on a sports team, right? So when you're working with a sports team, when you play with a sports team, you get that sense of camaraderie. And that's not just you're human and being a human, feelings, even though that is a crucial part. It's also this working out together and the shared experience and stuff like that. And this allows us, when you have good relationships with your teammates, that you can be more positive, right? So because it really does give us a sense of belonging, it can help build relationships that can be true friendships and sources of support. So next part of exercise and positivity. So exercise helps reduce anxiety and depression. I mean, I talked about this a little bit in the last podcast, how positivity can lower your anxiety and depression. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but with exercise. So exercise, as I said, increases endorphins, dopamine, and adrenaline. I already said this at the very beginning. So these are all brain chemicals associated with feeling happy. Happiness, positivity, even though they are different. Feeling confident, feeling capable, and feeling less anxiety and stress, and even less physical pain. Isn't that crazy? Exercise allows you to feel less physical pain. So exercise is also shown to help some people with depression, and which experts say could be due to an increase in nerve cell growth in the brain that happens when you exercise. I don't completely know what that means. These are just where I'm working on my notes here, and websites that I've looked out. So, cell growth in the brain, I remember talking about neurons last podcast. I think this is related to that. So when you work out, when you're doing something challenging, there's an accomplishment in that. There's the feeling that you get when you run a faster mile, lift a heavier weight, or, score a basket. That's your brain chemistry changing for the better. So, another thing about exercise. I've got just a couple more of these, so you don't have to keep listening to me ramble on. Okay, so exercise can help boost your confidence. So, when it comes to feeling happier and more, empowered in life, having confidence is key. And this is pretty obvious, but just for me, it might not be obvious to other people, but, feeling happier and more empowered, you got to be more confident. I don't know. That seems pretty obvious to me, but I'm just going to mention it anyway. So exercising allows people to feel more empowered and happier and about facing the challenges in their own lives. So we can conquer goals and improve our strength, right? Like working out, getting exercise, it allows you to have more confidence, and that makes you feel happier and more empowered, and